In this video, we will begin looking at subclasses in Destiny 2. For today, we will be focusing on the Attunement of Hunger for Voidwalker Warlocks. We will look firstly at what this subclass is actually used for, and why it is worth diving deep into its abilities and traits. We will then examine the specifics of what each attunement ability provides, measuring the tangible stats and values involved. Finally, we will discuss build options and synergies. How do you set up the subclass with gear that allows it to reach its full potential? Let's get stuck right in. The Attunement of Hunger excels, and I mean truly excels, at one particular role: doing difficult content by yourself. You know that new dungeon that has a really cool emblem for completing solo without dying? Well, this attunement was designed for exactly that kind of thing. Any activity where you are alone, or where you really don't want to die, or where there are modifiers that prevent health regeneration, such as attrition in Nightfalls, is where you want to use this subclass setup. The reason for this is that Attunement of Hunger is built around self-healing. Almost anything you do can regain you health, and in most cases it does it instantly. It removes any need to hide behind cover to heal, makes the recovery stat completely redundant, and if played correctly, allows you to be perpetually healing as you clear out enemies. Let's look at how it does this by breaking down the key traits. There is not much point at looking at these three individually, but Devour, Feed the Void, and Insatiable all work together to create a combined effect, a buff called Devour. This is the central ability, the one you must be constantly thinking about when playing this class. To activate Devour, you need to kill any enemy with your melee attack, or hold the grenade button until it is consumed. This animation does take 1.5 seconds, and if you release too early you will throw and probably waste your grenade in the process. When you do successfully consume a grenade or kill an enemy with a charged melee attack, you will receive a buff called Devour on the left side of your screen, which lasts for 9 seconds. The trick is that whenever you get a kill on any enemy while the Devour buff is active, it resets back to 9 seconds. So as long as you keep getting a kill every 9 seconds, then the buff will never go away. But what does this have to do with healing? Well, each time you get the Devour buff, or each time it resets, you will fully heal. Now, I'm not talking about the your health begins regenerating type of heal, but the instant full health kind, which is far better. Every time you kill with a charged melee, instant heal. Every time you consume a grenade, instant heal. Every time you get a kill while Devour is active, instant heal. In addition, getting kills while Devour is active also restores a portion of your grenade charge. It only takes 6 enemies maximum to fully recharge your grenade, potentially less as the natural recharge rate also occurs in the background. This means that not only can you reset Devour by consuming another grenade if you take too long to kill enemies, but you can also just use a lot more grenades, which is always handy. But what about your super? Well, this variant fires a Nova Bomb that leaves a damage-dealing Vortex in its wake, leading to quite high damage output against stationary targets. The residual field lasts for 5 seconds, but otherwise it's just the classic Nova Bomb. High burst damage for killing groups of enemies when you are in trouble, or taking out a particularly pesky major. With the specifics of the attunement out of the way, let's talk about build options and synergies. Let's look at the subclass selectable options first. Your jump is a matter for personal preference, and it will depend on the activity at hand. Blink is the obvious difference here, and I wouldn't recommend it for PvE content where this attunement really shines. As for your type of rift, it makes sense to choose healing if you are doing activities alone or where it is difficult to stay alive, as sometimes the Devour is not enough and you need that extra layer of self-heal. Now with the grenade, the Vortex is my definite preference. Although Scatter Grenade does do more single target damage faster, the Vortex Grenade can create a safe space for you to get away from pursuing enemies. And it also lasts longer, so if you are using something like the Oppressive Darkness debuff in Season 8, the target will stay vulnerable for longer. Let's talk about weapons. Your first priority is to ensure that you can reproc Devour reliably, which means the ability to kill enemies at any range. Of course, your weapon setup will depend on the activity that you are doing, but I like to take at least one weapon that can reach faraway targets, be it a bow, sniper, pulse rifle, or scout, because you never know when you might need to reach a distant enemy to get that health back at the last minute. But what about armor and mods? Well, as far as stats go, one advantage of the Attunement of Hunger is that it almost completely removes the need for recovery, discipline, and strength. Let me explain. Once you proc Devour, you should always be able to kill 6 enemies before you lose the buff. This means that your grenade recharges by itself, removing the need for discipline. Likewise, once Devour is procced, your melee ability does nothing extra at all, not even extra damage, so strength becomes a bit redundant too. Killing an enemy for instant regen will be faster than letting your health auto regen no matter how high your recovery is, so there's not much point in having much of that either. The only time these stats are useful is if you run out of Devour, and both of your abilities are on cooldown, and to get to that point you will have had to have made several pretty colossal mistakes. It's easy to run out of Devour, but rarely does this happen before you kill enough to get a grenade back, so save on those stats and pump up your intellect and resilience instead. Mobility probably isn't too important for soloing difficult content either. Now, as for other mods, there is one that comes to mind as extra helpful. Ashes to Assets, or the enhanced version, gives you more super energy on grenade kills, and as you will have a near constant supply of grenades, this can lead to some pretty fast supercharge times. In fact, any mod or perk such as demolitionist weapons that benefit from using your grenades a lot really work well with this setup. Finally, are there any exotic armor pieces that work really well with this attunement? Well, yes and no. There are no standout must-haves, but there are many pieces that give small but noticeable bonuses. The Ophidian aspect is my go-to, allowing you to manage your weapons that little bit faster, which is critical for difficult solo content where you have to play all of the roles at once. Controverse Hold is another good pick, as they afford you greater protection when consuming your grenade to activate Devour, so you can use it in a panic to stay alive a little bit better than normal. If you are scared of running out of Devour and ability energy, Apotheosis Veil will grant you energy back when using Nova Bomb, and both Nezarek's Sin and Verity's Brow help you recharge your grenade even faster. Now, the biggest anti-synergy to this setup is teammates. Because Devour only reprocs on final blows, having enemies steal your kill is a real problem for this setup, which is why I recommend it mainly for solo content or things where you're off by yourself away from your team. Hopefully this video helps you understand the Attunement of Hunger just a little bit better. Please let us know what you'd like us to examine next in the comments below, and linked in the description we also have our public Discord server, Twitch channel, and Patreon links for those who wish to support us further. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.